It's 6:37. You're listening to Breakfast Business with Vincent Wall, and we're joined now by Tom Barrett, Director of Hotels and Leisure at Savills Ireland. Tom, this is a very tough time for the hotel sector, as we know. I see the Irish Hotels Federation estimating that occupancy levels, based on current bookings, could fall to as low as 12% in November. And there's historically low occupancy levels in Dublin hotels at the moment. You have a note out this morning. You estimate that of the, I think there's maybe 22,000 hotel rooms in Dublin or so, about 3,000, 14%. Are either currently closed or being used for other purposes.
Yes, that's correct, Vincent. And obviously we know of some high-profile ones like City West. But that said, the vast majority of hotels in Dublin are open, and they've been open since early July and have trying to reignite the hotel industry and the wider economy. And obviously got off to a start in July and building in August. And then unfortunately, obviously, with the increased COVID numbers, that has taken a step back now in the last week or two. And that obviously rolls around the country as well. Dublin is a good barometer of what's happening around the country. And rural Ireland had certainly a good July, a very healthy August. It shows what the staycation and what the Irish euro spent around the country can do. But right now, city centre Dublin is very quiet. It's great value for people living in Dublin if they want to take a night out, a night away in town. And obviously, hopefully, once restrictions lift in the coming weeks, it'll be for the whole country to enjoy.
Yeah, obviously we can't encourage people to come from the country to Dublin at the moment, given the current restrictions. But as you say, it's tough on the hoteliers, obviously, and those that do remain open, the majority of them are having to discount very significantly. You reckon right across the band, from 5-star right down to budget, on average, perhaps 40% discounts on overnight and breakfast rates now, Tom?
Yes, so it's very good value, and certainly some people might in the past have found it sort of difficult to get a hotel room when they wanted in Dublin. That certainly has turned, but it's very tough for the hoteliers, and you certainly meet lots of them every day, and they sometimes have less than 10% occupancy in their hotel. So that's a very quiet building during the week. Weekends certainly are picked up, and there are people, as I said, spending their Friday or Saturday night in town. And the value, like 5-star hotels, can be got for €250 and less. And the 4 stars, certainly from €100 upwards. You can get a range of very good 4-star hotels in Dublin now.
Yeah, and you make the point, and I suppose it is the case that people who live in their own city very seldom either think of staying in a hotel for a break overnight or 2 nights, or the hotels that they would like to stay in perhaps are out of their reach financially. But where we have been encouraged perhaps to support our local retailers, that people who are looking for a break and those who have a few bob in their pocket because they can't spend it anywhere else should perhaps think of supporting hoteliers in the city.
Yeah, and often the case it is the local things that you overlook. And earlier in my career, I lived in a lot of different cities around the world. And often it was on the last weekend or two when I was leaving those cities that I ran around to see all the sights and do the things that I'd never done before. And, there's 1.9 million people in the greater Dublin area. And I'd say a lot of them don't know the city that we live in. And there is a great opportunity now over the winter to do that, and do it in some style and luxury as well if you wish.
Yeah, I was interested to see, looking at the table that you published this morning of the various hotels and their different star rating right down to budget, Tom, that of the 1,750 5-star hotel rooms in Dublin, all remain open. That surprised me because, I would have thought that they would have been more dependent on business traffic, on overseas tourist traffic, and yet all remain open.
Yeah, and Vincent, they're probably, suffering the most during the week. Obviously, you're getting that bit of the infill weekend business where people are, say, let's get some luxury at a good price. But they've also, they've got a huge team of people to run these hotels. It's very hard to turn it off and turn it on again. Whereas if you're at the budget end of the market, often you've got a hotel that's very kind of efficient, has a smaller number of staff, and it is easier to switch it on and off again as demand fluctuates. So they are the nature of the business. And these hotels are here for the long term. We talk about our airports and the cruciality of Dublin Airport and the risk of planes moving elsewhere. These hotels aren't going anywhere, and they are going to be the bedrock of getting the Irish tourist industry and commercial heart of Dublin going again.
We don't want to hex anybody or wish ill on anybody, Tom, but do you think that all those five-star hotels can remain open if things don't improve in the short to medium term?
I think they can. I think people acknowledge that the next 6 months is going to be very tough, and they've ratcheted back to as tight a level as they can. They're looking at probably 6 months of pretty low levels of business, but right now is probably as low as it comes because we do have the lockdown in Dublin. So hopefully that opens up again a little bit, and then we get back to slightly higher levels. But realistically, I think it's early next year. And I think that's outside of Dublin as well, because obviously the darker days here now, so there's fewer people travelling to the Cork and Kerry and Galway markets as well, but they haven't been as badly hit for the last 3 months as the Dublin market.
Okay, well, let's hope things do improve as soon as possible, and encourage people who have a few bob in their pockets perhaps to think of spending a night or two in their local Dublin hotels. Tom Barrett of Savills Ireland, thanks indeed for joining us this morning. We're joined on the line now by Rachel Ingle, Chief Executive of Aon Solutions Ireland.